Let's do it.
With our intro song.
And brand Koki talk story and point your
Point your feet.
Shout out Kelsey Park.
Thanks, Kelsey.
Kelsey with the vocals.
So, welcome to the 27th Sickled podcast.
Wow.
Today's guest. You might have saw her way back when on a little show called America's Best Dance Crew with Eight
Little
Flavors.
show.
Just a little show. Just I don't know. You might have caught it. She is definitely one of my favorite movers, Miss Summer Waikiki. Hey.
Welcome to the show, Summer. Excited to have you.
I'm so honored. I'm like, wow. All the people I look up to are on here. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, we have
we're
some
looking forward
OGs
to
on
getting
this.
somebody who's like up and coming and like doing their thing. So
yeah, we want to hear from people like you and not just the old people like us.
Like us. Well, I mean, let's warm it up, Summer, because we always start with some warm up, and it's always like fun to just kind of like get it going. We're just talking story. So, what's your favorite place to eat out over here on the islands?
Favorite place to eat out?
When it was like easy to eat out.
Oh my gosh! I feel like if it was like, where did I like crab. If it's like fancy, I like crab. So anywhere with crab or like shokudo. But if it's just like casual, then Foodland Poke Bowl is like great.
Nice.
Which Poke Bowl?
Exactly. Which Poke Bowl is gonna tell us a lot.
I guess I don't like it's like the California one. It's like the spicy ahi with like the avocado cucumber. It's for the crack and
Nice.
I want that now. I want that for lunch. With the fried chicken on the side. Oh.
That's funny because I was like, yep, tofu poke with the salt and vinegar wings. Ooh.
Dude, I'm so going there for lunch.
That's okay.
Yeah, they have tofu poke.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah, it's a thing now. It's weird.
Okay. Yeah. What's your favorite movie?
Okay, I don't have a favorite movie now, but I had a lot of favorites growing up. And so like High School Musical used to be on replay in our house.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like my dad's old truck, there's even like this recording thingy in the corner where you could voice record yourself. And I like had a recording of me singing We're All in This Together.
Yes.
Also,
that's
like
awesome.
Focus, that was like my go-to when I was 4. I wanted to bring that for show and tell in preschool, and the kids were like scared. Like what? I don't know. Yeah, I guess like stuff with dancing and singing, I guess, was the common. I don't know. I don't have a favorite one now, but
why don't you have one now? Is it because like you're not really into movies? You're just like over movies, or what changed?
I don't know. Like I only in quarantine I started to get into Netflix shows and whatnot. But like I like movies. I don't know.
Okay.
It's kind of weird.
Well, speaking of Netflix, what's like the show for you right now?
Yeah, what are you binge watching?
Okay, so right now I'm not watching anything, but I watched a lot since March. So at the beginning, like when quarantine first started, I watched On My Block, and then I watched All American, and then my family and I watched Money Heist. I feel like
Oh, you guys like those kind of shows. Money Heist.
yeah,
Nice.
yeah. I feel like there was more, but the beginning of quarantine just seems so long ago at this
Yeah, I
point.
know.
It's all
It's crazy.
I don't know what happened. But
Yeah.
yeah, those. What do you guys watch? Is there
Dude, hey, I've been watching. Have you guys ever seen Kim's Convenience?
No.
no?
Dude, that show is so funny. It's such a sleeper because like it's not necessarily. I mean, the Kim's Convenience. You don't get much from that show, but it's a Korean family that owns a convenience store in Toronto, Canada. But like they stretch out some of the Korean stereotypes. That's just like amazing. It's so funny. That's what I'm
Sounds
watching.
great.
Sample.
Sample. What am I watching? Oh, the boys are into Power Rangers.
Nice.
Um,
What?
and
Isn't there like a
what is
new
that?
Power?
Oh, it it's basically any Power Rangers. Like it doesn't even matter like which series. I just introduced them to Avatar: The Last Airbender, so
Oh
they're kind of
yes, finally.
so they're kind of cracking
Yes.
out on that. But me personally, there's a few, but the one I'm trying to hack away at is it's called Dark. It's a it's kind of like a sci-fi. It's a little scary at times, but yeah, I don't know. I like it. It's a foreign series, I guess, because it's dubbed and it's kind of funny.
Nice.
If you could live in any sitcom, which one would it be?
Oh my gosh. I suck at these questions. I'm like, I don't know.
She's like, I'm just trying to get through college, guys. What the
Yeah.
hell?
Yeah. I just skipped
I'm
out on
like-
class to do this.
Is that true?
It's okay because her lecture is pre-recorded, so it's all right.
I can watch it later.
I would feel so bad if you failed or you got bad marks because of us. That would feel so horrible.
No feeling here. What was I gonna say? I don't know. I'm like, I don't even.
How,
We've had people say
if
like
you-
friends. We've had
if you
people
don't
say
mind, if you don't mind sharing, how old are you?
I am 21 years old.
Dang, 21. 21 years old, don't even know what sitcoms are, dude. Right? You don't know what that is, yeah, Summer.
I know like Friends, but I like don't really know what other one.
You never saw it?
I've watched part of it, yeah, because I've seen some like episodes or like clips here and there, but I haven't watched like the whole entire series.
Nice. It's all YouTube for these younger guys. They don't even know what sitcoms are. They don't even know what commercials are, dude. It's all ads for them. Skip ads.
Oh my gosh. Ridiculous. All right.
But-
Well,
You made it.
Just not helpful
Congratulations,
at
Summer. Is your last name really Waikiki?
Yeah, so that's my dad's side of the family. Legally, it's both of my mom and my dad's name. I don't know why they hyphened it, so it's Kamau. That's just my mom's side hyphen Waikiki. But me and my brother in school and
Awesome.
stuff, it's like Kamau.
Cool. You guys ever had a hard time with having that last name?
What do you mean? Hard time.
Like, did anybody
No.
tease you, or like even in the Waikiki,
Oh,
it has
well,
interesting
yeah.
connotations because of tourism and
Mm-hmm.
kind of like like a lot of the diversion from what Waikiki was and all these things, So, because I have a friend who just made that movie Waikiki that's in the Hawaii International Film Festival. So I know there's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
controversy with that particular area, but I don't know, just
Mm-hmm.
curious if you guys ever came across any of that.
Only in elementary, like you would be like, "Oh, it's summer in Waikiki," or like they'd make like because my name is like Summer Waikiki, but
Mm,
not, yeah, not really.
cool. Awesome.
That's good.
I'm excited to hear about your story, young lady, because I think you're an amazing dancer. I'm sure many people feel the same way about you. It's cool to see you dance and progress. But how did you first start dancing? We always love, like Brent and I love hearing the origin story. So I bet you Brent knows it because he's seen you since a little kid time. But maybe from your own words, like how did you get into dance?
Um, so when I was 4, my parents put me into hula. We used to live in Kahaluu,
Hmm.
so there is like this little hello like after school thing at Key Project. And like
Wow.
some days I like to go, and like some days like I did not want to go at all. And then I think so actually I took one class at 24/7 when I was really young. I think I was 5 and I liked it, but I didn't like sitting in the circle in the beginning and like saying our name and how old we are and like our favorite color. Like that was the
Interesting.
that was like I don't want to do it for me. So I didn't go back to the studio. And then eventually I danced hula with Auntie Kapua Deliri
Hmm.
in Kanohe. So I
Wow.
went to Hello when I was 7, and then I was going to school, elementary school, and also dancing hula with my friend Kainani. And her auntie, I guess, was dancing at the studio at the time. So I went back again to try it again with her when I was 8.
Who is
And
her
then
auntie?
I don't know. Her
Oh,
last name is Bradley though, Kainani Bradley. And
oh,
the
okay.
mom's name is uh
You know
it
who
was
that is,
wild.
Brent?
I would have to see face.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not sure.
So
I
how
think I
old
met
were
her.
you when you went the second time?
I was 8.
8. Wow. So a good 3 years. By the
Yeah, I was
way,
like,
you know, you know, um, you have good mo'olelo when you say kahalu'u. And everybody else says kahalu. That's awesome.
yeah. So
Cool.
then
So
that's
three
like,
years you went back the second time, and you're 8 years old. How was it that time? Do you remember who your teacher was that first time?
yeah, so one of my first teachers, I remember taking a class from Christy Rakta,
Wow! Shout out to
and
Christy.
I think it was Christy and Nikki Kitaguchi, and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
like for concert, my first teachers were Ashley and Janelle in Philly.
Wow!
Yeah, they were,
Wow!
Nice.
yeah,
Nice.
Cool.
Beth and Calvin.
Oh,
Oh, you had
shout
them
out
as
Calvin.
well.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
And
great.
then yeah, and then I stayed at the studio and I was still doing hula and it was like always like a back and forth. I remember at one point like I really
Mm-hmm.
wanted to do the studio more, but I still like really loved hula and it was like trying to juggle both of them. Yeah.
Cool.
That's how it started off.
That's awesome.
So what was it that, because
Me
I think I
scared.
remember when I first met you, you were like 8. You were still 8, 8 or 9, but
Yeah.
you were like killing it. Like you and Cam Cam were just
Cam Cam.
killing everything. I felt like you were taking every single class at that time.
We would, and we would have to ask too. I remember like being like, Kelsey, can we take beginning hip hop? We had to ask
Wow.
permission to take the adult classes. So, but yeah, I feel like what happened with the switch was I still love hula, and I really like it's where I felt most connected to my culture and my identity as like a native Hawaiian. But I feel like at the studio, like it just allowed me to be very free and like I could do anything I wanted, and like I think that's what really like, and I of course like how I said like I loved High School Musical, like that whole scene, like I love
Yeah.
watching people perform and like everything, like the whole production side of things. So I think that's what made me like click and stay the second time.
Mm.
And like watching all the too.
Were there any like dancers that you look back that you're like, oh man, I want to dance like her or dance like him when
Yes,
you were looking up?
all of them.
Besides Brent Koki. Besides wanting to shake your booty like Brent Koki.
Yes, Brent. My first concert was Strategy. So that was like the one with the different games and stuff. That was the theme. And so I remember watching like Paper Planes and Hide and Seek. And I saw like Brandy them dance for the first time. And like I was like, oh my gosh, like I want to be like Brandy and Kelsey and Cerise and like yeah, everyone. And I even feel like Josh. I don't know if Josh Ofuyo was at the studio at the time, but he had a big influence on my dancing, as well as Spencer.
Mm-hmm.
Remember they helped choreograph a duet for Cece and I. I think we were like 10 maybe. I feel like working with them was like a big part of like me growing in dance, I guess.
Yeah.
And
cool.
you, Brent. You and Mark. Do you remember that?
I do.
Yes. I remember you.
Yes. What yeah. I know that like hula was a chance for you to connect with your identity as a Native Hawaiian. What about like, you know, dancing and performing connected with you as a person? I know like you liked it and seeing it in like High School Musical and things like that. What part of like dancing and for you like at 24/7 was like appealing to you? Like what was it that helped, or like why did you keep going back instead of just like doing hula?
Yeah, I think naturally growing up, like I was more on the shy side and quieter, and I felt like dance gave me the outlet to really like express what I wanted to express but didn't know how to in words, or like just like in conversations, or even I think I was just very quiet and like to myself before coming to the studio, that it really opened me up, not only in dance, but like even in my personality, I felt like, because everyone there is so like themselves and so out there, like, and confident in who they are. Like growing up in that really set me up to just be able to open up and not be afraid to be myself. Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's
Summer.
Cool.
When I first met Summer,
dude,
it's like,
but I gotta say, your sweet personality is not at all like what I thought you'd be, because you are a firecracker and you're like a powerhouse, dude.
Thank you.
Yeah, when I first met Summer, like you would say hi to her, and she would just like, hi, and then like disappear.
I don't know why. I don't know why.
That's what I love about dance, though. You know, it's like it lets these parts of us come out, that like if you're loud and out there, like it's cool, but also if you're quiet, it's cool because it's like this shared space that we have where we really can access who the true parts of ourselves. And that's awesome, man. That's why I love whenever quiet introverted people dance, because like you really get to see the unedited version of someone when they're performing.
Yes, yeah, like the rawness
Yeah,
without any.
yeah.
Yeah, because that music would turn on, and Summer, your energy like fills the room like instantly. Once that music hits, that's it. Like ain't nobody stand a chance.
did,
Yeah, and
did
I
you
think
ever?
that's what I like about it. Like
Yeah.
I just go.
Mm,
Yeah.
dude, that's great. Were there any like crossover in like hula and dance that like you notice? Because whenever people do like multi-disciplines, I always ask like, what are the connections that are there? Like, because it's fascinating. Because hula is completely different than, let's say, like a jazz and hip hop, but it's still movement, you know?
Yeah. I think growing up with Auntie Kapua and her halal before being more involved with the studio really set up my work ethic and like
Mm,
my class etiquette and like how to be just in the room with people because she was more on the strict side, so like there wasn't a lot of like play that we would play around, but we would know like when not to like we would basically know how to act and like to not be disrespectful in any kind of way. And like so I feel like growing up with the seriousness behind dancing something cultural, like the weight that that holds,
yeah.
I feel like kind of carried over to how I perceived and would like carry dance, I guess. Like a kind of,
Wow.
I don't know if that makes sense.
That makes
But like,
total sense.
okay. Yeah.
And I think it makes sense as well because of the type of performer you are. It shows from the discipline that I think perhaps Auntie Kapua gave you and many people like you. That's why like I feel like I like when people do some more cultural and more traditional things because they have like a reverence that some people don't have, and they are not able to access parts of their craft,
Mm.
and take it a little bit more lightly. But even dance, even like modern dance, it's evolved from traditional dance, and dance has been around just as long, and people just treat it still like a popularity contest, and it's sad when that's
But
only that.
I think, yeah, I think it helped me understand at a young age, like the integrity behind what we do when we dance with our craft. And even Sella was like on the more strict side too back then. So I think it was an easy transition.
Yeah. Same, same.
Oh, Summer, you're frozen. Summer.
Once you talk
Okay.
about Marcelo,
Yeah.
dude, Marcelo sends the internet trolls.
Hello.
Tell us
Okay.
about Marcelo. Tell us about him and being around him. And
Hello. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, Marcelo's like a lot of our dance dads, and I think I've had a close relationship with him since I was younger because I did the junior rainbow dancers. So like all of that, he was still coaching that. So I was around him a lot for that. And then the whole Eight Flavors thing. So I think like he really watched me grow up along with everyone at the studio with like Brent and stuff. Um, but yeah, Marcelo's like a lot softer now, I would say. Like he's not as strict, right, Brent? Like
Yes.
he's definitely more soft. Um, yeah. I'm like, Julia, I'm like, do you guys want a story or?
Well, Brent always wants the dirt on Marcelo. We can easily get the dirt on some other peeps, but we're still searching for that good stuff for Marcelo. Marcelo got to catch up on
Yeah,
some of his
what's
backstories.
okay, so let's jump into this then. What's
Okay.
a horror story and what's like one horror story and one like great story with Cello?
I have both.
Okay.
Nice.
Or it's not a horror
Finally.
story, but it was just like, I think it was my first time. I was like, I was like, we made him mad. I was like,
What happened?
if you're watching this, if you're gonna watch this, we were at ABGC, and I think we were pretty far along at this point. So, like, the whole experience itself was kind of crazy, and we're all kids, and it was a lot. And I think at one point, like, Solo was kind of getting like over us and like everything. And so one night we were like in a rehearsal, and I think it was pretty late. And I don't know if we just couldn't get this intro down, because I just remember like they had to keep resetting in like our opening spot like over and over. And then Marcel and Kelsey are sitting in the front, and then I don't know what happened or if someone said anything, but I just remember someone was like, seems like, or like, I think they were lecturing us. And then it was the first time I heard someone swear. And he said to me, like, it's like, you guys just don't give a shit or something like that. And then I was like, and then like I like looked, and then he walked out. He walked out and he went back to the hotel room. And Kelsey followed. She like was like,
Don't tell. Did she flip? No, Summer. Did Kelsey flip her hair?
Her hair, but it was like that.
That would be so awesome.
Like followed, you know, like she was Marcel's assistant, so she had to like carry that.
Wow.
So like I think Solo's just over us, and he was like, "It's like you guys don't give a shit." And then so he like left, and then I like started tearing because I haven't like I knew Solo, but like I haven't heard him swear. So I started tearing, and then Charlie started tearing because I was tearing.
Oh
and
no!
And then Teen Tam were just like over it because I think they witnessed before. And Kiki was like rolling her eyes, and Jared was just like she didn't know what was going on. And then like I think we like tried to like fix whatever we were trying to do for a while, and it just wasn't happening. And the next thing you know, all 8 of us were like walking upstairs to his hotel room. We like knock on his door to apologize.
Wow.
It was just funny, like, and so I'm pretty sure Solo had every right to be upset. I think it was like our faces, like I think we just didn't want to be there, and it was late, but he was like doing it for us. And we're just being not cooperative.
Oh man.
Yeah,
I think
that's a funny story. That's the first time I was like, oh.
I think of all the years I've known Cello, there's maybe 2, maybe 3 times I've ever heard him like swear. So
Yeah. I'm pretty sure
it's
I only heard him like 2 or 3 times also. No, yeah. Just because he does, and he always tells us, he's like, don't swear. Like he always tells us not to swear. And so like when if he even says the S word or any word, even if it's not, it's just like, oh my gosh, like we upset him. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I was like freaking out. And then after we like went to apologize, and Kelsey and Ishe, Angel's older sister, were like trying to talk to us like what we did wrong. And yeah, it was good. I'm sure Kelsey even shared like the whole experience itself was kind of crazy. Crazy.
Tell us about that. So like, 8 flavors.
Yeah.
How did it form, and how did you feel like joining and getting to compete on a national stage?
So originally we were Flava's crew, and it was 7 of us girls from the studio only. And then we went up to Pulse. I did a lot of dance conventions when I was younger, the Pulse dance convention. We went to like a few of those, I feel like. And then Cameron knew the other LA girls when we got up there, so she like introduced us to each other. And then that's how we met each other. And then they even came down to do a World of Dance with us. Oh my gosh. They even came down to do a
Wow.
World of Dance with us. And then so after that is when Stella was like, okay, because we auditioned 1 year and then we didn't make it with Flavor's Crew. And then so when the next audition around, that's when we combined with the LA girls. And then we went up, and we even went up with like, there was like an older 24/7 group that went. I think they were like 25/8. We all went to audition together. And then so we made it. Honest, like a lot of it's kind of a blur. But I
How old
remember
were you? How old were you when this was happening?
I was 12.
Holy smokes,
Yeah.
man.
I, I feel like an experience like that is already a lot going into it, like as an adult, knowing who you are, like it's already a lot. And then like going into it
Yes.
as a kid, like it's kind of just like, whoa. Like I
Yeah.
remember coming back and going back to Kamehameha, like just at school, and it just seemed like a dream. I was like, what? I couldn't like comprehend, like, because it's so different from like just LA in general, that alone, and then like that whole scene.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was definitely good times, and then there's definitely times where I wish that I was at home. Like I just remember missing home a lot. But overall, like I think that whole experience shaped a lot of my identity and like how I am
How so?
today.
Like what kind of things?
Um, which part do I remember? I think it kind of introduced me to the dance industry, which created like a drive for me when I came back here because I saw it. And initially, I remember Kelsey, like when we were up there, she was like, would you want to move here when you get older? Like, would you want to live here? And my answer to her, I was like, no. I was like, no. Like, I did not like it at all. Like, just the environment and the energy there. Like, I just knew that I didn't really like it. But it's interesting because when I came back home, like, I think knowing that the other girls were like working and stuff after, it kind of like gave me like that drive to like continue to work hard and train and like
Yeah.
to have something to work after. Yeah, I don't know, it's just a lot.
No,
It
I
was a
get it.
lot in general
Yeah.
experience.
I think we can learn a lot from each other. Like people in LA are driven, man. They are
Mhm.
driven. I think to some extent sometimes some people I've met were like a little shady up there, but they're driven nonetheless. And I think many of us local people can learn from hard work and determination. I think that's a big missing component to a lot of us local people. And I think from them, they could learn from us and just being a little bit more nicer and a little bit more easygoing. And I think that's a great exchange that happens from some mainland people and us. And I think that's a good thing to experience. And that's great that you got to experience that at 12, because that's awesome.
Very grateful, yeah. Yeah, I agree though, that exchange. I think a lot of the times, like for me, I think I've grown past, like I'm working on it, but I know like growing up at the studio, like Stella would always tell me like be more aggressive, like because I was constantly told to like be humble, like I didn't want to come off as aggressive ever. So like it kind of like led me to not really going in the front or not really like I didn't want to put myself out there too much. Like I wanted to put myself out there just enough, but like never like I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna get it. Like I was never very assertive about my goals before. Where like I think recently, like within my college years, like there's been a shift because even in high school, I don't think I had the capacity to really commit and what is the word I'm looking for? Like
Commit and what? We lost you.
immerse myself
What?
immerse myself. Oh, hello.
Okay, we got you back now.
I didn't have the okay. Like my high school years, I feel like I didn't have the capacity to fully immerse myself into dance the way I wanted to, just because there was so much going on, and I was committed to so many different things. Where I feel like in college, like I had the capacity to do so. I don't know what changed. Maybe it was like the less work and stress from but like I really had the time to figure out like my craft and work on improving different aspects of dance. So I've just naturally become more like assertive about what I want to do and how I'm going to get there, I guess.
That's awesome.
I don't know if that had any importance or what anyone.
Oh no, it definitely
That's
does.
super important. That's so good to hear. That's good to hear. That's what like local people need to hear, you know? It doesn't have to take longer, and you don't have to go to LA and see like crazy fast speed life. You can see it somebody who's local who translates that energy into their own. And that's what you did. And I think that's when we live our lives out loud, we give people the permission to live theirs out loud.
Yes.
That's super good.
Yeah, I feel like for a while I was afraid to admit that I wanted to pursue dance.
Wow.
And once I got rid of that like pride and like me being afraid and not wanting to admit it
Because what?
Uh-oh.
oh,
So,
That's the first time I got snaps, by the way. Oh, Summer.
Summer. Uh-oh. She in the chat box. So, nope. Oh, she had to log out. Oh, there she is. Yay!
oh no.
Got you back.
I was talking and I was like, I know I'm frozen right now. I was like,
You're back.
and now I'm back.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's interesting. There's this false, it's a weird kind of pride because it's not the kind of pride that is like out there and loud. Like I feel like us local people, we have this like weird kind of like amalgamation of like a reverse pride.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes, I know what you're talking about. I don't know how to explain it in words, but I know.
What does the future look like for you? So you're still in college, you're dancing with the Rainbow Warrior Dance dancers. What does the future look like for Summer Waikiki, who's stepping more and more into her identity as we see her?
Yeah, so I'm a senior at UH Manoa, so I graduate in May. Woo! With my degree in communications. Not sure what I'm gonna do with it, but
You can do anything.
there.
You can do anything.
And then hopefully the dance industry and COVID kind of settles down, so the dance industry and the performing arts in general can get back up and running. But my plan is to move to Los Angeles, where I didn't want to move when I was younger. And yeah, I personally, the auditions that I went to so far, like I like auditioning for things. I've only went to 2 auditions. Yeah, I've only went to 2 auditions. So my plan is to basically just go up there and audition for whatever's happening. Hopefully get a job using my communications degree somehow, because I think that would put it to use. So I didn't just for nothing. Um, yeah, there's not much to the plan. I'm not sure how it's gonna happen.
It's okay.
We're just gonna go with it.
It's okay, because at least you have like a some sort of plan. Like it's not just like I don't know. I'm just going.
Yeah, but
Whatever.
Yeah, at least you have a direction.
Yeah.
Sometimes all you need is the direction you're going in. So that was
yes.
good.
I kind of want to back up just a little bit because you're saying that when you got back from being on ABDC, like you felt like you're like that drive was there, but then you started to really work on your craft. I mean, like I think at that point I was back at 24/7, so or maybe I was coming in and out, but I would see like we all know you work hard, but I think it's crazy to hear you say that because for me, I just felt like everything came super easy for you. Like naturally, you just took to it. Like, I mean, not to say that I have not seen you like work on combinations or work on technique or whatever, but it just seemed like I'm just like, I don't know, I just do it. Like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, and I think it was that. I think like when I was younger, I didn't really think much about like execution or like really like my working hard was like just taking all the classes that I could take and doing whatever I could like regarding the studio. Only more like within the past year, 2 or 3, I've say like I've focused more on execution things and like lines and stuff, more specifically like how I'm executing. I definitely think when I was younger, like I didn't think much, like I would just do. And I think that's something I need to get back into doing. I think nowadays, like I think too much and I overthink everything. When I think I need to pull back on that a little bit.
Wow. Yeah, it's interesting because it's almost like it's like different gas pedals, right? Because I think gas can run so long on just natural talent. And then sometimes you just gotta like work hard and think a little bit more critically. But when
Yeah.
you work so hard and you forget to play
Yes.
and enjoy the process, it just becomes like robotic. And we have to learn how to like dance between the two gas pedals for it to maintain its integrity of why we started it in the first place, you know?
Mhm. Yes.
Yeah, I think that's one thing I learned too. Being here, I just did. You know what I mean? You just took class, you performed, whatever. And then being in LA, just seeing where my friends were at and them talking about foundations, I'm like, what the heck is
Yeah.
foundation? And then it's like, oh, okay. And then it's
Yeah.
like
Oh, there's a
almost like,
name for that?
yeah.
Thing, that dance
Oh,
move?
yeah. Oh, hip hop has technique. Like, so it's just learning. It was all for me. It was almost like learning how to dance again, and then
I
once
think
I
that's
felt
kind of
okay, yeah, and then once from that, like I think that's where I started to play, and then kind of try to figure out who I was as a dancer, you know. So
definitely. That's so interesting because I've like within these past couple years, I've started to follow more people in the LA dance industry on social media, and I think that's where I have been exposed to like all these foundations, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I don't have like locking foundations or like popping, like all these foundational things. I'm like, I haven't like really trained in. So that's where like I've like it clicked in my head, like I need to be like looking into more of this stuff instead of just like choreography, I guess.
That's awesome.
I think yeah, it makes sense. Yes.
What hey Summer, what piece of advice would you give to someone who is you know, in the same mode, wanting to get involved in dance or maybe even dancing now and trying to figure out their identity? What would be a piece of advice that you have for someone?
I guess don't be afraid to try different approaches and stuff. Like with choreo, like you never have to stick to one Not identity, but like you don't have to stick to this to know like, oh, that's Summer and she dances like this, and that's so and he dances like this. Like, don't be afraid to try out different types of execution, and like how you want to tell the story or whatever of whatever piece that you're doing. And also, like in general, I go off of this, not to sound all religious, but I go off of this Bible verse and it says, like, do everything in love. And for me, like, because I'm so committed to different things, like, just that reminder of like why I'm doing it and like to go into it with the right intentions, like whatever happens, it won't be a waste of time because I did it from the right place. Does that make sense?
There's nothing wrong with being religious. That's awesome.
Yeah, those like, yeah, don't be afraid. Like dance wise, don't be afraid to just explore and to even like fail or if it looks weird or whatever. Don't be afraid to try different things because I feel like that's when growth happens, and then the intention behind everything.
I love it so much.
Do you have any embarrassing stories?
Ew, I'm like, oh no. I'm like, I have a couple.
Yes.
And do we want to hear?
All of it.
Which one? So I think I was 10. So at this point, I've only been at the studio for like 2 years or a year and a half. And I was dancing Tahitian at the time. And Cello asked me if I wanted to be a part of Tribe, the number Tribe. I'm sure you guys have maybe seen it. The studio has done it at like every event in 2010. So I did Tribe with them. And he called me in like maybe a week or two before. It was for jump competition. That was the first time we were doing it. I was like, okay. So like, it was like I would just come and like hide in the back with the boys, and then I would be revealed, and like I did Tahitian and like I did some choreo with them and pose, and that was it. And so the competition day came around, and apparently I did not know my cue on when to go on stage. And so like I'm waiting on side stage to go, and it was hard for me to know like the counts because it was like the boys breaking section and then a section and then it entered with the boys. So I went on stage too early. So I'm low bucketing across the stage in my big feather piece. And then I'm like in the back and they're dancing in front of me. And I'm like, this is not the right section. And then I'm like, I have to get off stage. And so like I'm just like in the back, like ducking down, like with my big feathers. And Cerise is like trying to sing to get on stage and she's dancing. And she's like, it's not the right time. Like, and like I was 10 and it's not all the adults, right? So they're probably just like freaking Summer, like messing it up for us. So, and then I go off stage. And then by the time I get off, I was supposed to be back on. And Will Thompson was nice enough to wait for me, right? And he knew that I didn't know.
Will.
So I get off, now I go. And so Will like brought me back on stage and then I did it. But that was probably like, and then it was just a joke for every single time we did Tribe after that. Like, Summer, you know when to come on, right? But yeah, I think you can see like me and the feathers. I'm just like waiting in the back and then I run off and then I come back and that was one of them.
Oh, that's amazing.
My first World of Dance, Hawaii, 2010 or 11. It was the year that the adults did the and they had like the poi balls.
Oh yeah.
And the teens did an exhibition number, and it was the Red Riding Hood and the Wolves one.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know what happened. It's literally on YouTube. Like you can find the clip, but we had to book it across stage in a line, and Cam was behind me, and I think like she was running really fast, and I was like trying to go, and she like hit my ankle, and I like face planted like it's so clear and easy to see. Like, and I was trying so hard to like stay up for a long time. Like you can just see it like, and then I just end up on the floor, like downstage to like where everyone
Oh my
can see
gosh.
it.
I love it.
It's on YouTube somewhere.
That's hilarious.
That is hilarious. That's so awesome.
I remember, but
I love
you know,
that. That's like
stress.
that's why like dance has to be. There's athleticism to dance, but there's also like artistry, right? So there's this quote about art that says like if you can't fail, it's not art. And I think there's that like adrenaline that we get because we try so hard to repeat and nail down these like routines. At
Yeah.
any moment, somebody could slip, man. Somebody could fall, somebody could come out at the wrong time. And I think there's that aspect of dancing that is exciting as well, because we're all risking it.
Bro, we just go out there and hope that the best happens.
Yes. All the time.
That's funny
Every
because like
time.
I'm reading this book on improvisation, and it's like
Oh,
they're talking about like how improvising like art and life is like so necessary for everybody and human beings. But then like with dancing, there's like we try hard, but to do all of this stuff and nail it, but there's a part of it where it's like nobody is guaranteed. You know what I mean? That's pretty crazy. Like 30, 40 people on a stage and we're all basically relying on each other to nail this,
I never thought about it that way.
By the way, I just found the clip.
Dude, hey, you gotta link it. That's not like the first time we can link a video in the description. That would be so awesome.
That's good. It's so good. I found it. It's like,
dude, send
yeah.
it to me.
Totally found it.
No, wait, yeah, it's like the half circle, and I just come up. I remember after I was like so mad. That's never happened to me before, and I was like, of course that would happen the night of.
That's so funny.
Where can people follow your journey, especially as you end your year at University of Hawaii at Manoa and pursue dance in LA?
You can follow my Instagram at summer_Waikiki.
Nice. Cool.
Summer_Waikiki.
Right on. Oh, it's been great to get to know you, Summer. You give me a lot of hope for the next generation. It's really exciting to hear.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me. I was telling, I don't know if you're here, but I was telling Brent, I was like, wow, like I was so nervous but honored because everyone that I look up to comes on here. So.
Oh.
No, thank you so much for doing this. And yeah, I think I don't know, for me it's exciting because yeah, I did get to see you kind of grow up because I was in and out of the studio.
Yeah, that's what I remember. I remember you being there, but I remember sometimes you were
He went away to be a cheetah girl. Cheetah girl.
No, that I think I moved home by the time I moved home, but I was bouncing between 24/7 and Hyper Squad. But I think yeah, like I said, you are definitely one of my favorite movers on island. I mean, and in general, but yeah, just to hear your story or to get more clarity on your story, I think that's great for me. I think something, yeah, like Larry said, there's definitely hope for the future, and yeah, I think you do amazing things, and I love your humility and just like the fire that you bring to this art.
The mana from the na'au.
Mana.
Deep from the na'au.
Yes. The na'au. Amen.
Thank you. Thanks everybody. Please like, subscribe, and share. we'll see you guys on the next one. And don't forget to point your toes.
Watch your
Yes.
toes. Thank you, Summer.
Thank you, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.